Hello, my name is Mitch and I draw Blood Force, and today we're taking a look at page 25 of issue 2 of Blood Force, and that's 3 pages away from the end of the issue. It's exciting stuff. But if you're a fan of the channel, if you want to support me as an artist, best way to do that would be to open up the description. There's a couple of links there. First one will take you to my Patreon, and if you were to subscribe there, that'll give you access to all of the Blood Force pages, the Blood Force comics essentially, as well as these videos before they get dropped on YouTube and any Patreon exclusive or behind the scenes stuff. So that's worth checking out. Also, if you were to go over to my Instagram, commissions are now open. So if you wanted to get your hands on some Blood Force artwork, that's the best way to go about doing that. So, here we are at the end of the issue, basically. Not sure what that, I think that's me trying to figure out cover ideas, basically. We won't worry about that just yet. I still got a couple of weeks before I got to come up with one of those. But this is going to be wrapping up the Popo interrogation sequence for this issue anyway. So we're going to get the last bit of back and forth, which has been fun. We're going to get a bunch of Popo monologuing, or at least the beginning of Popo monologuing. I guess this one's more setting him up, and next page is really where the monologue kicks in, and it gets quite silly. So, yeah, we're going to get an awful lot of, well, maybe not an awful lot. Like I said, there's only 3 pages left, but Popo is strung up on his immobilization wheel for the entire time. So that's, yeah, that was something I didn't really think about when designing this, but at least it didn't turn out to be a lengthy kind of thing. And I was trying to make sure the angles were at least a little different from panel to panel. Try not to hit the same ones over and over again. And I probably could have stood to be a bit more imaginative with the page layout here. But for the Blood Force is a little bit dualistic in that way. In that, that's probably not the correct word. But, you know, it's either one way or the other. We're either going to get as high intensity action as I can manage, or we're going to get 3 to 5 pages of dialogue with not a lot of movement, because that's apparently the only kind of shit I can write, or I feel like I can write. So we'll see if we can expand that out as we go. And there will not be very much in the way of extensive pencils, because that's just not how we do things around here. But trying to come up with kind of cool images. I think this one works. And you need something on each page, as Uncle Wills told us. So I think that top left panel is going to be the one on this one. Maybe not a cover on its own, but, you know, just something kind of cool looking. The rest of the stuff, it's more to just kind of carry the mail. And this angle here is a little tough to make it look any kind of good, really. Oh, we're backing up. That must mean more is happening. Oh yeah, I decided I needed to flex him out more. And I think that was the correct choice. And trying out my graphite holder here, which is something I don't use. I picked it up at one and didn't like it. Well, I didn't have the... I feel like I explained this last time. Didn't have an electric pencil sharpener, so without it, you're stuck just kind of sticking into a regular sharpener, and that just takes way too much fucking time with graphite. But I'm pretty sure this is 2B lead, which is too soft for my purposes, unfortunately. And this is actually kind of why right here, because from what I understand, the softer your lead is, the more it actually keeps your ink from soaking into the page. So, you ever have it where, I don't know, if you're inking and then, you go to erase everything and like half the ink comes off, from what I understand, it's because the lead is actually keeping the graphite or keeping the ink from soaking in. It's just sitting on top of the graphite itself. So I don't know how I'm not sure how to get around that if that's the case. To be honest, I mean theoretically you should go with a harder lead, but I'm also using a 2H. And I think for page 26 I used like almost exclusively a 2H, and it still does the same thing with the smearing. So I'm not sure what exactly the problem is. Pain in my ass though. I managed to come up with an interesting kind of backlighting on Popo here for this shot. Yeah, get all the black in. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're not quite there yet, but a little bit more shading, and all of a sudden, this particular angle looks like, yeah, he's lit from above, but also with some soft lighting below, which is kind of ideal, really, and honestly a little bit unplanned. So that's cool, and hopefully something I can repeat a little bit. One thing I'm noticing is that I'm not. There are times when I'm not happy with the amount of lines. In that I think it's too few on the page. So I think I'm gonna try and up the line count a fair bit. If I can. There's plenty of stuff where I want to add detail and it just doesn't happen. Like I just don't know where to go from there. I might even be looking at the detail and just, like I can't see where to add. Oh, get my Jim Lee blood in there. That's good stuff. Be nicer if it focused a bit more, but, what can you do? But this is kind of a Jim Lee looking panel. Yeah, a little bit. Didn't quite come out as Jim Lee as I was hoping, but, fairly. So you got to get some Jim Lee blood splatter in there. And got the smoke coming off him. I liked how that ended up turning out, actually. Still not exactly pulling off the neck stretchies. We'll get there one day. And here we go with our higher line count, which means a lot more cross-hatching, which is not really an image way to do things. They do a lot of cross-hatching, but not like that kind of fine line stuff. It's usually very particular. So like I find myself alternating between the image method, like the Scott Williams kind of stuff. Obviously not how Scott Williams would do it, but a little bit similar with the strokes. And just extremely fine perpendicular cross-hatching. Which is something I picked up from Cerebus, and many years back, and is a little bit tough to kind of get out of my system. And now I'm finding like no, I kind of like having at least some of it in there sometimes. And I like all the hatching that ended up in that panel. That panel looks very good to me, so I'm totally fine with how that ended up. The focus is still an issue, though. It is a little funny how little an outline I gave myself on this. You know, like I could have made my job probably a lot easier by just, you know, drawing a little bit more in pencil. But, you know, I do that and maybe I can't finish this page as quickly because I think I finished this page all in one go, actually. Or pretty close to. For the inks, anyway. So that's pretty impressive. This was a 5-hour stream, which I haven't done for a while. I believe the last one of those I did was the cover, actually. And this is all pretty good stuff. It's a little bit. I tend to do fine lines first and then go over the outlines several times because just I can't help myself. It's like, no, it seems like a good idea to do thin lines here. And then, you know, you see the finished product, like, no, that was a bad idea. Fix it up. Fix it up more. Fix it up more. I do have my brush pens back, so this will be easier going forward at least. And not only that, but had a bit of a, I don't know, something clicked thinking about double lighting that I didn't have on this page. It'd be actually on the next page. But I feel like I might have figured something out a little bit. Hopefully. We'll see if that's the case. And then, of course, faking in all our ridiculous tech in the background here. I'm still not great at this. I just kind of do it more, I don't know, a bit more haphazardly, a bit less concernedly. I suppose the concern is just that, you know, somebody's going to call you out for not trying hard enough on these backgrounds. Like, no, I don't think they are. You know. I think I've said often enough that backgrounds are not my thing. And I'm giving it a go, but it's just not. It's tough sometimes to get up the motivation for it. I feel like people get that. I feel like maybe people feel me a bit on that. If they don't, oh well. Plenty of comics these days have great looking backgrounds that I'm quite sure are traced. Not with Blood Force. That was probably very loud. I apologize. But no, we don't do tracing backgrounds here. That would be, what would that be? Unethical? No. I don't know. That would be smart, but although most of the backgrounds so far have been, you know, either we're on board an alien ship or we're in front of the UN Secretariat building. I have difficulty finding reference photos for that, or at least of the. By the time I finished, or by the time I'd found the reference photos, I'd already drawn like a page or two. It's like, oh shit. Okay, well maybe I'll be more realistic next issue, or maybe I'll be less. So what are we down? We're out of 6 panels. We got 4 that are completely done, which is pretty great. And this is from far enough away that we don't have to get too detailed on the clerk here or on Popo really at all. So you don't want to get too detailed on the backgrounds, right? That's the reason. And just remembered the headband. You know what? I don't think I drew that at all on page 26. No, but you don't really see Popo from the front on page 26. So I think that's okay. So long as I remember it on page 27, because that's the important one for that. And classic silhouetted tech. Everybody loves silhouetted tech. I know I love it for filling up backgrounds anyway. Yep, silhouettes with lights beeping on them. It's the best. Can't beat it. And then, yeah, just fill up the corners and put stuff in at weird angles. And somehow that works. Well, more of the same. But I didn't realize at this time that you couldn't see much of what was going on. And then decided, I think, that the stuff up in the corner here needs to be more complex. So just throw stuff on top of it. And there we go. A bit more stuff overlapping here. Yeah, more smoke. And that all looks pretty good. And we actually got very small space to fill in with Popo and his hamster wheel now. So really the only thing here that was mildly important was get the proportions right. After that, you can kind of get away with just about everything. And yeah, so the net result of having been tortured for however long is that his pants are now ripped. And he's a little bloody. And smoking. The ripped pants, though, they're the main thing. Oh yeah, I decided to put some like clockwork wheels in the background here just for kicks. I'd been working on a commission for a company when one of their titles I was doing a promo for is it's called Steam Patriot. It's a steampunk American Civil War thing. So I had to actually figure out how to do some steampunk stuff, which I've never done before. It's like, let's just let's put some in the background here too. Why not? You're not even really going to be able to tell what it is. Gonna have to be something. Might as well be steampunk. Steampunk. And then just filling up this tech stuff. This one in particular ended up looking pretty good, actually. So this should probably be the standard going forward, I think. And there's a couple of aspects of this wheel that end up being that could be landmarks if I stuck with them. I don't believe I did on the next page. Although again, we don't really see it from the front. Oh, there. That's when I hatched it in and I went, wait a minute, that looks better. And yeah, just noodly, noodly, noodly. All sorts of weird little details. Oh, good. I was about to say, oh man, am I not going to be able to see any of them? Yeah, this is good stuff. I'm not sure who this is exactly. It's not Sylvester. I suppose it's a bit more Jim Lee. But I'm not really looking at a reference for those. Maybe I should, and it'd be a bit more consistent. Or maybe this is just the way I do it. And well, no, I got to work on it still. I got to expand it, particularly the silhouetted stuff. And this panel here. So I mean, like we're on the last panel of the page. I believe this is still the live stream. I think I did finish it up. And this panel isn't, I mean, it's not fun, really. Actually, it did end up being a little bit fun just because of the way the the light hit the muscles. That's where all the fun is in this book. I don't know why. Yeah, so it's not, I mean, it's a little bit fun, but it's not the most fun, definitely, out of any of these panels. But it is somewhat easy. You know, it's just, I can do this figure from here, that's fine. And then a little bit of that arc. And then some shit in the background. And, like, you know, you're golden. This is probably the quickest panel to do, or close to. That one up just up above it and to the right, that's probably the quickest panel. So yeah, figuring out the shadow on this when most of the light was overhead was fun. Yeah, working out these penumbras. But again, it'll be interesting to see what more I can do now that I've got a bit of a different perspective on double lighting, or at least I think I do. Might not be the case. I guess we'll see. But yeah, so filling in a little bit more of the tech. A little bit of smoke behind him and a little bit of shit up here. And yeah, put some wires connecting it, put some lights on it, and we should be good to go. We're good to go. So yeah, that is page 25. Not a bad page, really. I'm trying to think of the last time we had a bad page. Page 24 could have been better. That was one of the ones that made me think, you know what, there's not enough lines on these pages. Or it's not dark enough or something. Maybe it might have just been that particular page is a bit too light. But no, I like how this one turned out. I like how the next page is turning out. It's just about done. And I like the idea for page 27. And after that, we're moving on to issue 3, which is fucking bonkers. Yeah. So that'll do it for this one. Thanks very much for watching. If you like this video, please hit like, hit subscribe, hit the notifications. Go follow me on Twitter. More importantly, go subscribe on Patreon. That's where all the Blood Force pages end up. That's also where all these videos go before they get uploaded to YouTube, usually a week or so in advance, as well as any behind-the-scenes stuff and Patreon exclusives. Also, if you go over to Instagram, commissions are now open. So if you want to get your own Blood Force artwork, that's the way to do it. But yeah, that's going to do it for this one. Thanks very much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.